There is a very fun event for a very serious cause coming up in Northern Virginia, the Capital Country Challenge, a battle of the voices to help in the fight against homelessness. It'll be hosted by Wesley Housing on Saturday, May 5th, and I'm here today with Shelley Murphy, President and CEO of Wesley Housing Development Corporation in Alexandria. Shelley, thanks for joining us.
Happy to do it.
How much of an issue is homelessness in Northern Virginia?
Well, people think because we are one of the wealthier regions in the United States that homelessness shouldn't be an issue here.
Right.
But it is an issue here. And it's a growing issue in the broader region. And it's driven by the same foreclosure crisis and the job loss crises that have hit every place else in the country. So, you couple that with the fact that our housing prices are some of the highest in the country, it makes finding an affordable place to live a real challenge. Rents are going up 5+% per year.
Wow.
For market rate rents. So it becomes a real challenge.
Average price for a 2-bedroom apartment in Northern Virginia right now, $1,500. That's a lot of money.
Yes, and that's for a moderate apartment.
Yeah.
You can certainly find apartments for double that price,
Sure.
right?
Let's say, for example, Shelley, a single mom making minimum wage. How is she going to afford that?
Well, she's not,
Yeah.
basically, because as a single wage earner with children, she basically would have to hold the equivalent of 4 full-time jobs to be able to afford that rent, if you assume that she's not going to pay more than 30% of her income on housing. And we like to use that, especially at lower income levels, because this mom is also going to have transportation costs to and from work,
Sure.
and she's going to have child care costs that are probably going to exceed the amount of her rent. So, clearly it's not a workable situation for her economically.
Yeah. What about violence against women and poor health as far as contributing to the homelessness issue?
Those are certainly contributing factors, and it's certainly an area of growing concern. As reporting gets better for violence against women, then, if they have to leave in order to feel safe, then they have to have a place to go with no means of support in many cases. The shelters are full, and really what we'd like to do more and more often is really find people stable, permanent housing as quickly as possible, because, living without a roof over your head means you can't get a job, you can't provide a stable base for your children. There's a whole host of other issues that come with that.
Shelley, can you explain what the term the invisible homeless means?
Absolutely. We do what's called a point-in-time survey, where once a year a number of nonprofits and local government folks go out and they literally count the people that they can find who are homeless, those living in shelters, those living in the woods, those living in their cars. But many folks who are the invisible homeless, who are sleeping maybe with this friend for this week and that family for that week, they never get included in that count. And we know those numbers are going up.
All right, so let's talk about Wesley Housing. What are you guys doing to help solve this problem that is just unfortunately not slowing down?
Well, we've been providing affordable housing to those who need it for 38 years. So we've been in this for the long haul, and we continue to be focused on this. We provide affordable family rental housing, and we provide special needs housing. So we've really got 2 pieces of that puzzle.
Okay.
We've got a number of family apartment communities across Northern Virginia, and we have special needs properties that serve seniors, severely disabled, and folks with HIV or AIDS. We provide community resource centers at 3 of our larger family properties, and we provide on-site resident services at all of our special needs properties.
And could you tell us, please, about some of those services?
Well, for our family community resource centers, we provide after-school programming for the kids so that they can have a stable base. And we've got some really great participation and some great results from that. English as a second language and computer training are 2 of our most heavily subscribed adult offerings. And then at our special needs properties, what we really do is focus on making sure that the residents there are linked to the services that they need so that they continue to live independently.
If you had to try to establish the connection between homelessness and affordable housing, what would you say to that?
Well, I think of it as there's a continuum of housing, and it goes from the person living on the street to the person who owns his or her own home. And we work in the range of that continuum that says people are ready, sometimes independently and sometimes with good social service support, to live independently in an apartment of their own. Mm-hmm. So it's not shelter housing, it's not what we think of as supportive housing where they come in and they're in a special program for 2 years and then have to find permanent housing. We provide permanent housing, and in many cases, it is the first time these folks have had permanent housing of their own. It's not a 90-day program. It's not a 2-year program. This is their home for as long as they need it.
Let's talk about the impact that we see, the lack of affordable housing. What does that do to our communities in Northern Virginia?
For those who are what we talked about, the invisible homeless, they don't have any stable place to call their own. As they move from household to household, from couch to couch, the kids can't be stably put in a school. They don't have the support systems that they need, and the family can't access the services that they need, and very often it's a barrier to finding employment, which is, housing and employment are the two things that a family needs to become stable again.
Absolutely. Okay.
And, this just increases the strain on all of the public support systems. So the faster that we can get folks into permanent housing where the kids can be safe in school, the adults have a chance to have a permanent address and a real phone and all the things they need to go out and have a stable base to get services in place and find employment, that the better off everybody is.
If you would please, Shelley, tell us a little bit about the people who live at the different Wesley Housing properties. Sure.
Well, every single one of our properties has a very different personality, and it's one of the things we love about what we do. As I said before, we've got seniors, we've got folks with special needs, and we've got families with very diverse backgrounds. We have a lot of single parents. We have a lot of folks who are working. The folks who live in our properties, for the most part, work for a living, but they don't earn very much money. Right. They're like the mother that we talked about that earns minimum wage or maybe $10 an hour wage and can't afford to pay market rate for housing. We also have a lot of newcomers to the country of various ethnic backgrounds. Some of those folks are working 2 and 3 jobs just to get a good start in this country and are looking for a stable, safe place for their families. If you look at it from a statistical perspective, about 60% of our residents are women, and just under 30% are children. And the average median income in this area is over $100,000 per year, but the median income of our residents is under $30,000.
Wow, that's a tough road to go down. Where does Wesley Housing's funding come from? How are you guys able to provide these homes for people in need?
It comes in a variety of ways. When we redevelop a property to make it affordable, there are special sources of funding that are available that allow us to keep the rents at below the market level. And then we work with local jurisdictions for, we work in partnership with them for local rent subsidies or Section 8 subsidies, and so we'll layer in whatever else we need to serve the folks who need this housing.
Now, the various Wesley Housing communities have generated a lot of success stories. You want to tell us about one of those?
At Strawbridge Square, we have a community resource center, and we've really focused on increasing our teen programming there in the last year, and we have 7 graduating seniors.
Great.
All 7 of them are going to college.
Oh, my gosh. That is incredible.
It is incredible to have that kind of success rate for, folks who are, first generation and, really struggling to make a go of it. We're just so proud and excited for these families.
Well, that's just a real testament to how important it is that these kids have a permanent roof over their heads to help them succeed.
That's right. It's a permanent roof over their heads, and it's the addition of the kind of services that can help the kids integrate into the community, to achieve in school, and that provides additional support for the family so that they can do what they need to do and trust that the kids are in a safe place and getting help with their learning.
Great, great. Well, we want to see a lot more of these success stories. So that's one reason for the Capital Country Challenge. I want to talk about this because we're excited to be involved. Tell us about this really fun event you guys are doing coming up. Young Aspiring Singers. Here you go.
Well, we really wanted to find a way to reach out to the youth to raise awareness of homelessness and of our mission. And really, the Capital Country Challenge is a way for us to do that by inviting youth to compete for prize and live performance at our Spring Kick Festival on May 5th, 2012. So our online editions are going on right now. They end on April 6th.
Okay.
There's a $20 entry fee, and we asked for that because that helps us to fund our Help the Homeless activities, which will be kicking up later this spring. And, we've got a grand prize package up to $1,000 and prizes for both age groups, 8 to 14 and 15 to 22. We're very, very excited about this. People can vote online. Then the finals will be held on May 5th. We are going to do that at Great Country Farms in Bluemont, Virginia.
Mm-hmm. Lovely Virginia wine country. That'll be a beautiful day.
It will be a beautiful day. The website for the challenge is Capital Country Challenge, all one word, .com. We've got a variety of entrants. We've got school groups. We've got church groups. We've got, individuals who are just signing up and singing their hearts out, and we're so excited.
Yeah.
We also are always looking for volunteers at our community centers, and they can either contact us through our website, is probably the easiest way to do that.
And again, that's wesleyhousing.org.
And then, the donations that come in either through the Capital Country Challenge or donations directly to Wesley Housing really go to help support those resident services that we talked about.